Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the star line by an actor, producer, and director. You've seen him in The Lost Boys and the most excellent Bill S. Preston Esquire. His latest project is directing Zappa. We welcome Alex Winter.
Hey, how are you?
Absolutely great. Let's go beyond the mic. Since Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, you've spent your time behind the camera, mostly doing voice work and directing documentaries. Why do you enjoy directing so much?
Well, I've always loved directing and making films. I started acting professionally as a little kid, but I was also making films as a little kid and saved up my money acting on Broadway to go to film school. So it's always been something I've done alongside everything else. And, it's a creative outlet. It's just, I think it's how I express myself the most. It's kind of what drew me to Zappa, was the similarities in some ways to how he had come up making films.
Zappa was made because of the generosity of Gail Zappa allowing you into the vault of archival footage of Frank. What did you discover in your search of these vast archives?
Gosh, every day. I mean, it was like an excavation, and there was so much there. He was really a rabid collector of his work. So there were things going all the way back to his birth, and it went, beyond that and into his art and his family and the world around him. So every day we'd find something, whether it was, Joni Mitchell, Hendrix, Clapton hanging out with him, things that were really kind of amazing to find that we didn't even know had existed, to beautiful footage of the Sunset Strip during the 60s and a way into the height of the beginning of that era that also I'd never seen anywhere else before. So it was kind of every day it was some other discovery.
How were you able to take the mountain and weed it down to what you wanted to show, especially with the not for safe work videos and the simpler pictures of just LA?
Well, I mean, we've been on this thing for 6 years, so it was a real labor of love, and some of that footage was in danger of deterioration, so we had to stop and raise a bunch of money to preserve that archive, and we spent 2 years just doing archival preservation. But we, at the end of the day, had a very specific story to tell, so we focused on telling an intimate kind of inside story of his life, and that gave us a roadmap for what to use. And we tried to keep that as our North Star because we were really out on a pretty deep ocean with all that footage.
When someone other than you and your team was able to see Zappa and said, "Oh, wow," how did that make you feel?
It was, honestly, from the very beginning, that was kind of our response. My editor, Mike Nichols, started working on the film from the very beginning, even before the film was financed. We were playing with the archival media, and just from the very beginning, it was really kind of jaw-dropping what was there and the quality of what was there. It was really beautiful footage because Zappa made films himself, and he was very good at it. And so a lot of the archival that was down there, he had shot himself. So it's pretty impressive.
From your own experiences opposite Yul Brynner in The King and I on Broadway, you created Showbiz Kids, which allowed you to show some of the things you had to deal with as a child actor. It was a story I'd wanted to tell. I wasn't exactly sure how to tell it for a while, and making docs for a bit, it occurred to me that a good way in would be to collect a small ensemble of child actors from across time. So we had subjects that were 100 years old who were child stars in the silent era, all the way up to these kind of Disney Instagram stars of today. And that became the way in. So it became an intimate way into the story that included my own story. What strength have you discovered in your path from child actor to director as a person?
It's kind of a trial by fire. There's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows, and I think that it makes you a stronger person. I think that most of the people that I know that have lived through doing that kind of work that ended up okay are very strong, and also have an ability to look back at the experiences for what they are, meaning really enjoying the things about them that were great and kind of moving past the stuff about those experiences that were traumatic.
Speaking of traumatic, we're all dealing with the trauma of COVID-19. What have you discovered about yourself during this quarantine?
I think that
we're a pretty resilient and lot. I just think as a country, as a global community, this is, I think, for anyone, no matter what they've been through, even if they've been around the planet for a while, this is probably one of the first big crises that everyone on the planet has experienced at the same time. And while it has been a cause for great concern, it has also brought a lot of people together. And that, I think, is a silver lining. I think it's brought the world closer together. I think that, as we move forward into a very new kind of period in human history, I think it's going to help people understand how connected they are and how we need to take care of each other and the planet a little better. I think personally, the silver lining for me is I've been very, obviously like everyone else, we've been kind of all camped in with the family together, and we're all very busy, including our kids. So oftentimes we're not seeing a lot of each other during the course of the day. And we have actually, it's made my family stronger, which I'm grateful for. We see a lot of each other. Look, we run a restaurant, a hotel, and a school, right? And a summer camp when it's summertime. So, I've learned how to do a lot of things I didn't know how to do before.
Well, what's one of those things that you learned that you didn't know before?
I think that I don't know if there's anything super specific, other than I've had to learn how to teach fifth grade math, which I suck at. So there's that.
Is it the new math? Because I hated that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's fine. I look at it, it's like looking at hieroglyphs. I think like on the second day of school, my kid, my youngest, looked at me and was like, "You're really not going to be of much use to me, but I appreciate you trying."
Time's running out, so it's time for the Rockin' 8. 8 random questions answered with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is absolutely no pressure.
Yeah.
What's the thing that you do that would surprise people?
I smoke meat.
No, are you dry aging or smoking meat?
Barrel wood smoked meat. Yeah, over many hours. Yes, it's a very beloved hobby of mine.
Very nice. So, what did you have for Thanksgiving?
We had turkey and ham. I did not smoke. It's actually too cold here right now. It's hard to smoke if the temperature outside is fluctuating a lot. So I wait till it gets a little warmer. But we had turkey and ham, and we actually made a pretty giant feast, given that it wasn't that many of us.
Isn't that how it always is? We always eat too much during the holidays and then veg out on the couch. Action movie or chick flick?
Action movie.
Broadway or L.A.?
Oof. Gosh, I'm really a child of both. Yep. Yeah, but I was a Broadway kid. So.
Favorite actor you've worked opposite?
Come on.
I have to ask these things. These are things that people want to know. And if they don't want to know, they're going to learn.
There's got to be Keanu. He's like my brother.
What's your guilty pleasure TV show?
Three Stooges.
Now, are you a fan of Shemp and the Three Stooges?
I'm like, you don't want to go there. I'm a deep dive encyclopedic knowledge of the Three Stooges fan. There are many Shemps. I could get into that.
Certainly.
We could spend hours on this. This is the guilty pleasure.
You're a victim of circumstance.
Certainly.
What's the best way to relax on set?
Meditation. You just do not have your phone with you on set is the best way to relax on set.
What's your favorite song?
Naima, John Coltrane.
If you could change one thing from your past, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I don't really have any regrets of any significance. One thing from the past, what would it be? You may have stumped me on the last one. I don't know. That's a really tough call. Maybe acted a little bit more. I stopped acting professionally in '92 to work on my directing. I might have enjoyed sticking around acting a little bit longer.
Now, since you've been working on Zappa the past 6 years and Showbiz Kids, what's your next project?
Yeah, I'm writing a half-hour series right now, a narrative series. I'm developing a movie to hopefully direct the next year or so, and I'm developing 2 new documentaries to work on. But I may also do a bit more acting again. It was fun to jump back into that with Dylan Ted.
He loves to watch the Three Stooges, loved working with Keanu, and his movie Zappa is out now. Alex Winter, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And that, my friends, is Beyond the Mic.
Thanks so much for having me. That was great.